Yeah. Good. I guess it was all okay on balloon all over the floor. I had to go into town and get some. I found a place to replace a chipper belt, and then I'm probably gonna go tomorrow morning and pick up a riding mower belt because I got it back on, but I was like, I need about it. Yay! Nice. Okay. Yeah. Or I'm gonna put them on the table for now, and then I'll pass them out. Yeah. I will probably go down tomorrow if you want to come down. Saturday, I'm going to bring my chipper to HPP and get the blade switch to the sharp side, and hopefully he'll put my. So I kind of got that in order on Saturday, and then somebody wants to buy my tree on Saturday, like down at the mountain. So, and my cabins came today. Yeah, well, they're in kilo. I know. That's the top page. Well, it was August that they milled, and then they put them in a container in September to ship. And so it's been September, October,
Just a bus here, right?
Put out 9 months, but it was supposed to show up in like 3 months.
Once
So it's been an extra 6 months.
just call out the names. Yeah.
Could happen, but at least they're here.
So I need it.
Like, good. Most excellent. I'm kind of still a little under the weather from Vegas. Like, I think there was like some. Oh, cheers. Vodka.
Sit down, sit up front. Any of them. Well, we just put out this row. Cheers. Let's get started so we can get out of here. There are, Marianne's wanting to make sure we know there's cookies over there by the sink and water. So bottled water, if you want some water, cookies, they're over there.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. This is our first board meeting for the 2025 Leilani Board of Directors. We'll do a quick roll call. Make sure everybody's here.
Okay. Smiley Burrows.
Here.
Janice Tucker.
She's in here.
We know she's here. Al Morrow.
Yep.
Rod Kendall.
Present.
And John Segal is present. And Greg Armstrong is not here, right?
He was, he's not able to make it. Okay. And I'm here.
Rich Rowan. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure there's no Zoom.
No, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
It's being filmed now, so it's live. On the back table back here, we have, if you haven't signed up, real quick, sign up. We've got the agenda there for tonight. It was on the website, it's been out there for a week. So we've got a list there, the committees that we're going to talk about a little bit later on. But if you see anything that interests you there, we're going to need help. And there's minutes there from the December 5 general meeting, membership meeting that we had that we're going to also discuss tonight. We're gonna make a motion. Let's the minutes of the meeting. If you haven't read them, read through them real quick. They're back there. 2025 annual members meeting. As we're gonna ask to accept the minutes. So have them look them over. we'll give everybody a few minutes just to go through them, and then we'll make a motion. We'll have somebody make a motion to accept the minutes for the 2025 general membership meeting, which a lot of you were there then, I
Move to
think. Tonight, let's be courteous. If you ask questions, raise your hand. We'll spot you. We have microphones. Okay. There's microphone back there. It's just a little tiny mic like this. Just grab it and ask questions, whatever you want to do. But be courteous. Don't talk over anybody. Let's get through this. We'll go through the reports from the board here. From the president's report to the financial, and we're going to want to we're going to hold questions on those until we get through all of them, so we can motor through that stuff.
Take that staple
Okay,
out.
and then at the end,
What?
we'll have a little bit
Whatever
of
is on
the
the
agenda
floor.
shows is open forum at the end where we can ask questions and we can talk about anything we want to talk about at that point. Okay, so
I'll just do them off to the side and put them.
go ahead.
When you do get the microphone, if you wouldn't mind, please state your name so I can write it down. And if we can't answer your question here, we could respond to you in writing. That way I'll know who to send it to. Thank you.
Can we get a motion to accept the 2025 annual members meeting? Go ahead.
Point of order.
This is March's.
Point of order.
These are mine. This is mine.
Go ahead.
I object to the
And then we
minutes.
have,
You're asking for an approval. I object to the approval of those minutes. We want to cover those objections now, or do you want to cover them when we talk about motions for members meeting down below?
We'll cover them then. We'll cover them then, because right now we're gonna get a vote to accept these.
No, they can't be accepted. It's in discussion. If you don't choose to discuss it below,
Okay.
without approval, then you cannot.
As you're reading through this, you'll see on all the motions that were brought up at the membership meeting and voted on, and all of them were approved by the members of the community here. You'll see at the bottom of each one it says yay, nay. We had members of the old board either objecting to all of them. They refused all of them, or they abstained. So it's not surprising that we'll have some discussion later on this.
It's a simple vote,
We'll get to that. We'll get to that a little bit.
Because a call for discussion has been made.
We'll get to that a little bit later.
And you refuse to have a discussion now, you want to have it below. If you want to have it below, then you cannot approve those minutes above.
We'll have it below, and then we'll call for a vote.
Then you may call for a vote.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine with you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And we'll get going on the reports, president's report. That we've only been it was April 5 we're nominated and voted in as the board of directors, so it's only been 5 weeks since we've gone on the board. Short time. We've been busy this entire short time. Tell you what we're up to. We changed the Leilani bank accounts within days of getting elected. We wired the mezzanine lights. Greg Armstrong always came up, turned the lights on and off, and opened the doors. And anyway, we wired the mezzanine lights to be automatic, so they're coming on and going off in the evening, so nobody has to do that anymore. We initiated groundwork for forensic audit, and Janice would talk about that when she gives her treasurer's report. We brought in Hawaii Telecom to this building for high-speed internet, so now we're wired for high-speed internet, which gives us the ability to use, we're using YouTube now instead of Zoom, so people can watch that. We modified the building alarms. There were multiple alarm pads on the buildings here, which is really confusing for Michael. He has to lock up and unlock all the time. We rewired those and got those changed, so we just got a single alarm panel. We changed out all the locks in the building and in the office, and installed a new safe. We couldn't get combinations and stuff on that, so we changed all that out, so that's been done. We painted the water tank out in the field, which was just ugly and red and forever. It's just a water storage tank for the fire department in case we have a fire here in Leilani. So we painted that thing.
Got it.
Uh,
That done.
we chased down literature for that playground structure that's been sitting out there for several months. We couldn't, the old board wouldn't give us any literature on that. We went to the manufacturer, we chased down the literature, we got that.
You didn't ask.
We did ask.
You didn't ask me.
I asked Rob.
You didn't ask me.
Okay.
And I told you that Al
And
had.
we dug out 22 footings for that structure, and tomorrow we're gonna start assembling it. And Saturday we got a work party, so any of you that's available Saturday at 9 o'clock, we're gonna start assembling the stuff in the pavilion, because it's supposed to be kind of stormy tomorrow. So hopefully we can start putting this stuff together and carrying it out, set it in those footings that we dug out there. So that's gonna get done. There's a picture of it on the table here in case you want to see what it looks like. We didn't know what it looked like. We met with county's Douglas Lay on the lava buyout and the lava lots here. The county's purchase of all the lots here in Leilani, and talked about that. There's the destruction of homes. We tried to persuade them to burn them, offer the fire department to come in and burn them up. Don't haul the trash for days and take it apart with the excavator. So anyway, they're considering that. But anyway, we did have a meeting with Douglas Lay, and we did get a listing of every 188 properties right now they own here in Leilani. So we're creating a new map to go right and place that old one there with every one of those lots we marked on there. So you'll see a big chunk of that gone away and belongs to the county now. We chased down a listing of all of those. I forgot about it. We organized an executive session, 7th May, to get agreement on these same motions from the members meeting. And we, at the same time, at executive meeting, we terminated the lawsuit that they had brought against us, and we terminated their attorneys. So both attorneys are no longer working for us or for them. We just installed cork boards. Marianne, everybody, for years, everybody's trying to stick push pins in our hard plywood wall, bulletin boards. It never works. So anyway, we put cork boards up now so they can post easily. We identified the need for urgent repair of an electric panel in the playground. I saw a kid out there about 2 weeks ago now, but some kid was just over there with his hand up in the bottom of that panel. There's a 100 amp breaker right there. He was pulling a bird's nest out of there. I'm like, what is going on here? The panel is shot. It's all rusted up. So we've got to get that replaced quickly. We established a new independent website. Okay, so we have a webmaster. It's no longer a board member. It's, what you post will get posted, and on the website you can send in questions, and every day we'll be answering those as quickly as between John and I. We can get answers out. We will answer whatever you send in on the website. So it's before it was LeilaniEstate.org. Now it's Leilani-Estates.org. So jump on there, check it out. Yeah, and if you get any questions, send them in. Marianne organized a work party to clean up the garden out here, and so on the 13th, and so we had a bunch of people. Some of the faces I see here, Jean, all cleaning this up. We did that on the 13th. We did all of this in 5 weeks, and we count just a bunch with literally 4 board members involved. Okay, 3 have not been involved, haven't helped us in any way. You can imagine what we could have got done if we had 7 board members up here working for you. Okay? We've spent just so much time, too much time in the courts and with attorneys fending off the lawsuit that we have since terminated, the frivolous lawsuit initiated by the previous board. And so hopefully we can put that behind us. It's cost tens of thousands of dollars already. And we just wasted a ton of money, a ton of time answering hate mail from a lot of people that own lava lots and got billed $100 a lava lot. which they were totally confused about. Nobody approved that. The board never, well, the members never approved that, but they sent out assessments $100 a lot. The county has 188 lots. They never got a bill for even one. So it's kind of weird that they were trying to charge you $100 a lot, but they weren't going to charge the county anything. All right, that's all I got for now.
Comments,
Thank you so much.
discussion?
What?
I have comments.
Okay, go ahead.
Congratulations on the Hawaiian Tail. I'm just curious, does that have Wi-Fi so community members can sit outside here with their laptops?
Mhm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
I'm just asking.
that exists everywhere. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Is there a public Wi-Fi?
We're gonna set up a
They have
guest.
to know the access code to get into it, but
No, it's
yeah.
not
So go
public.
ahead. Go ahead. That happens everywhere. You can go to any place with Wi-Fi and sit outside the window.
Are you sharing the code?
We'll probably make a guest link, because I know sometimes phones don't work here. If you have AT&T, they don't work here, so you gotta get on the Wi-Fi.
Smiley, you ready to roll?
I am.
Wait. I said I had 3 or 4 comments.
Oh,
Okay.
Hi, good
Excuse me.
Hold on a
evening, everybody.
Smiley,
Okay.
I haven't released the floor yet.
Okay.
You said you eliminated attorneys that rep the LCA. You're claiming the lawsuit is terminated. None of those statements are true. They're acts of fiction that live in your head.
yeah. Well, we voted on the terminated. Go ahead.
We'll see that in the courts. You're claiming that this board of 7, that only 4 of you are actively helping the community. I found that to be a demur to the other 3. I was not notified of any of the activities that you're performing up here. I was not given an opportunity to participate. And for you to go in front of the community and basically tell them I'm slovenly and lazy is an insult. And I think you should refrain from these incendiary attacks on other board members.
Okay. Anything else?
I agree. I don't think you should say bad things about Rodney. He's done a good part of it. I don't see why you're saying bad things about it.
All right, Smiley, let's roll. We're gonna go to the VP.
I have additional comments on that. As far as not helping, you publish these things on a Facebook site that's limited and private. Ones that the 3 board members, coincidentally, are banned from. So how are we supposed to know what you're doing if you do it that way? Now, maybe this website, you'll post stuff out there, maybe that'll make it better. But it needs to be on a site that's accessible to all.
It has to
And it
be.
will be,
Yep.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
don't know about the garden.
Okay, let's roll. Go ahead.
And as far as the lawyer thing says, the definition is when people are, where there's defendants on the board of a current lawsuit, they're referred to as conflicted. They cannot be involved in any decisions with that lawyer or that particular lawsuit.
Yes.
So,
But the people bringing the lawsuit are conflicted, you and Rod, as much as we would be. So no, the definition is shared.
no, you said, you're saying I could fire Jim Penny's lawyer?
That's a private suit.
That's a
Exactly.
It's a private suit. It's
Yeah,
not.
That's a private suit.
No, what it is, you're claiming the defendant can fire the plaintiff's lawyer. That's what you're saying you can do here.
We've already done that.
No, you said you did that.
Smiley, roll.
Okay, so good evening, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for coming. It's really awesome to see everybody here. Oh, sorry, Andy. Louder? Okay. So, I think Rich, as far as he shared most of the work going on. So if I can add anything, I got an email this week from Ashley Kirkowitz, who's working with Sarah Friedman from Research and Development on creating a program to share starts of greenhouse plants and canoe plants, and they're looking at our community as one of those places that they'll choose to do that program. So I'll keep you guys informed more about that. And I guess the only other thing that I can add is I will be meeting with the recovery director next Monday. So if there's any questions that you guys want to ask me for the sake of, bringing things up to the team, maybe after we're done with this, come up to me and it'd be great to get more input from you guys. So
That's my.
that's it, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Ms. Riley, who's the recovery director?
Douglas Lay.
Okay, and may I attend that meeting with you?
No, it is a private co-chair meeting for the 6 recovery committees co-chairs that meet once a month. Yeah,
Thank you, Dan.
sorry.
Janice, treasurer.
Well, I have some P&Ls up here if everybody wants me to pass them out. Balance sheets. P&Ls aren't done yet. So this is, make sure, April. Okay, this is March balance sheet. This is the old, what's in the QuickBooks, okay? That's the old one. This is okay to pass out. Yeah, but it has to go along with the new one that I created. I have to scrambling through. So this is the old one, the little print's the old one. The bigger print that I can read is the new one. Okay? And that's March, that's the first quarter. And then I also have it for April.
Per the members meeting that we had on the 5th, we were given marching orders from all of you to for a forensic audit going back to 2019 to 2025. Janice is doing the legwork on that, so that's.
We can't go back, there's hardly anything.
Hold on. Listen up.
There are no files for 17, very little for 18, missing half of them for 19. So 2020, there's still some missing files, 20, 21, 22, 23, but it's the biggest amount of stuff I have to work with. What I would like to do is start 2020 in a new system and get us up to 25 and current. And then we can go back to the old system and decipher a lot of the other crap that happened back there. I've been through boxes and boxes and boxes. I had to order new bank statements. Because in 2020, they all disappeared. So it's a lot of missing stuff that I have to fill in. And we don't have anything prior to the election. It's all thrown away. Got to start. And also, anybody knows Dropbox? I have some stuff to scan.
We can't hear you.
Yes. I don't want a mic because my work.
Maybe just stand up.
I will talk louder. Okay? I think everybody got March, and this is also April's, I'm sorry, the little commingled when we get them in there. Let me talk and then I'll pass out April's, okay? Unless you want to go through where it says April 25. I think that's what we handed it. Okay, so then we need March maybe. Okay, so my notes. I'll go through it in a second. My notes. A lot of stuff has been going on here since like 2011, from what I can see in the back. Okay. The lawsuits from 2011 forward have been $414,622. Just from 2020 and 2025, 327 of that, and since late 24 to this month 25, is $103,000. We could have done a lot with $400,000. So I think we really got to stop getting our egos in a twist and maybe try to have rational conversations. Now for liens, all right, who wants to sit next to me?
Definition has its advantages.
Which year?
I can't hear either.
Another new-
So I'm gonna move on to liens. In 13, 14, we made some liens on property. 15, 16, nothing. 17, 18, we made some. So we lost out on this $47,000 of liens, because no one ever filed and renewed them after the 6-year period. You only have 6 years to do it, and you have to renew it before the end of the 6-year period. So we lost another $47,000 there. We have 2020, $15,000 worth of liens. 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25, nothing's been filed, so we have to get active on filing liens on those properties. Okay? And I talked about no files complete starting in 2020. Interesting things, I found physical copies of checks, and I have the copy of them, but they deleted from my software system. And that was in 2019 and 2020. And I'm seeing a lot of weird transactions in that area too, coming in and out of bank accounts, so I have to look into that.
Who was writing these checks?
I don't know these people who was in the 2019 and 2020 board.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been here 3 years. And I'm on the island full-time 18 months, so I don't know a lot of people there. Okay? The payroll module in the system also is a glitch. So when you run it, all the checks, payroll checks in my system come up at $0. But if I click on them, it shows me the check amount. So our payroll running module in the old system's broke. So you're not getting clear reporting on our profits and loss statements, okay? And then, yeah, missing invoices across multiple years from 18 to 24. We've also been paying a large amount of insurance for our girl in the office, who should have been on Medicare a few years ago. Paid $1,300 a month for her, which is $16,000 a year for her to be on regular insurance instead of Medicare. Nobody caught it. And my bank balances, as of today, I have to go back through them all, now that I have them all. There's a $41,000 error in the bank balance. They don't, what the old system says we have and what I have, 2 different numbers, taking it physically off the bank statement. So there's some research to do. And what I kind of see is through the years, there wasn't anyone checking on what was happening in the system. Because you just had a clerk, basically, inputting the things, and nobody printed out a ledger, question any of the activity on it. The board should be looking at these at least on a monthly. We don't have too much going out. Our going out with payroll is $9,000 to $12,000 a month. We don't spend a lot of money in a month.
I used to be a accounts receivable. I know a little bit about what's going on in the days that live on the island, live on the island. And I've seen a lot of stuff. But I want to know, how is an audit going to put these people in jail or get them to pay?
Well, the stuff that I really want to audit on,
How would you be able to recognize?
well, if I had 2015 forward, I could sit there and go through it and see whose signatures on stuff and everything is, and then you could pursue it. But since all those boxes have disappeared out of storage and there's no backup, that's why going forward, anything I have is going to get scanned to Dropbox and it's going to be saved to the cloud. And I'm going to have multiple people have it, and any new person coming in, change the password on it.
Just for reputation sake. You won't be able to.
It's covered by Ash, yes.
You won't be able to punish them, that's what's fine.
Well, if I had the paperwork for the stuff in the back, you probably could legally, if it was gross, 50, 100,000, 200,000, yes, it's a crime. And you could punish them. But right now I want to get us from 20 to 25.
Why is it not a crime if it's 2,500?
Well, it is.
Okay, why did you get such a large?
Because nobody's really going to take it on for $2,500.
Well, you already are auditing back to what? How many years you are?
It's 25, but I wanted to find grand mistakes.
So it's,
Okay.
small.
Well, I'll notate it because those small ones could add up to $250,000. I notate anything that looks off and not in the place it's supposed to be. But it's kind of hard that I can't go into a box and pull out that receipt that they say, bought a tractor. Did they? For here? Did they buy a tractor for the house? If I don't have a physical piece of paper with it, I have no tangible proof. That's my problem. And I guess they were smart to throw everything away. I have a box from 2015,
That's what I'm saying.
but I don't have 16, 17, and 18.
Enough.
That's why I'm gonna go from 20 to 25. Get us on board, get us clean, get us at a comfortable position where everybody's happy. And then I can start perusing in the back and dealing with that. I can't start at 15 now because,
Saying why bother?
I can look at it and say,
Why bother?
look and say, I will, for some big things, but at some point, we just gotta keep moving forward. Listen, I have been living on aspirin, Pepto-Bismol, and Tums for the last 3 weeks. Because I just see lackadaisical and no one taking accountability. That's what's transferred in
Just
there.
a quick note,
I know,
okay,
but this is
enough.
my life for 30 years, I've done this for 30 years.
Janice,
Huh?
let's move on.
Okay, so my last thing is, I would suggest possibly, when I get it all settled, we hand it off to a property management team. And then they're accountable for everything. And they can sue them if anybody wants to feel like suing. But they'll take care of all of the banking, everything else, the invoicing, sending stuff out. And like here, I have 87 people on a list that owe quite a bit of money, and it says next to their name, not a good address. Okay, so I took some of these, and I went on Been Verified, and I looked them up, and I said, oh, we're still billing them, but they sold their house in 2016, so we're billing them and the new owners of the house at the same time. So when you see on the old sheet, $648,000 of accounts receivable coming in, we don't, they're double bills. But we have to work through this list too, because a lot of people are out of state, they're on Hawaii, they're on other islands, and I look them up and they don't own that property, they own Hawaii anymore. So you have to face it, it's just time consuming, and I didn't put all my effort into that right now, because I was trying to get us some sheets to look at. Okay?
Going forward in the future, the office manager, one of her primary jobs is accounts receivable, and they'd be chasing those things, writing letters, chasing money. They should be doing that every day. The other note, what you mentioned about the insurance, we've talked to Kim already. She should be on
Thank you.
Medicare. Yeah, Medicare already. We told her we're going to cut it off, $1,800 a month. She can't afford it, so she knows that. She's already applied. She's working on it. We're going to get her off the bill. Okay, so that's in the works.
What about pending legal fees? There's nothing on here about any liability fees. So we assume they're all paid out for what?
No, that's on the P&L statement that I didn't finish printing out before I ran out of ink. So the legal fees, we have not paid yet. We're gonna owe about 103. No, about, a little less than that, about 80 something with the last bills that came in.
So what is Leilani's total assets that they have?
The assets are gonna be right here.
1.1.
Well, that's the old one. We don't have 1.1 million in assets.
Kind of tractors you buy.
We did before
Just a reminder, if you don't state your name when you ask the question, unless I know you.
And personally
Let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move
Now,
on.
the assets are gonna change too as I keep digging deeper. 989, and that's still our equipment, the building.
$20.
Or you wanna know what kind of money we have?
Cash in the bank.
Right now, we have $302, $250.18.
Yeah.
302,000,
Oh, okay.
200, yeah, but it goes up fast when we're paying big bills, you know? But again, we have, we're gonna write off 151,000 in dues that we can't collect on anymore. So we have about $481 in receivables still coming in. And I would like to start with the people that are slow on the receivables, start getting letters out to me and start finding, I kinda need like a committee to find addresses for these people. You know, they've been verified, it's $5 a month, 100 things, and you can find that they moved and then track where they moved to. The ones that are hard are the county lots without an address. But I think Al said you have a program that can run the lots.
I can
for
do
me?
deeper searches for that.
Yeah, Al can help me with that.
I've been going through it. It's been a little slow, but,
It's tedious, it's
Yeah,
time
I know.
consuming.
yeah, I was working on a spreadsheet, but, we'll work up next week on that.
Okay,
Hold on.
all right, that's it. Any other questions?
Just real quick, I didn't get what 41,000 was that, bank statement error?
It's out of balance from what's in the old system to what I have at the actual end of April bank statement.
Thank you.
Okay, there's $41,000 difference. And again, in the old system, there's a lot of weird journal entries. Like they tried to get rid of some of the old accounts receivable. And they popped it into the bank account, but we never got that money. And you can't do it, you have to close out the invoices, because when you run an open invoice report, it's still there, even though you made it, that's why this is all adopted. Yeah. We'll get there.
We'll move on to Secretary's report.
I would like to ask you a direct question to make something crystal clear. Did you find any evidence of theft or misuse of funds from this previous board?
Not that point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not yet. Not yet.
But
Or before.
can anyone answer what happened to the receipts, all the receipts, the records, the documents that are missing?
What years are we talking about missing receipts? All of them?
Well, a lot of them,
What's that?
22, 23, 20, I don't have
Recent
24
cards.
yet.
I gave her everything on receipts.
So it could be a Kim problem.
So,
I have a question.
right now, you did find two things, two small items, and I never got a receipt for those because they were electronic, but I over-requested those, but
Yeah.
we're talking about,
Not anything recent,
$200, so, yeah, so.
not anything recent, but I haven't got the 2024
Mark,
files.
I don't have anything bigger than that,
Yeah, let's roll.
The recreation costs still in existence.
Is what?
Recreation fund.
Yes, we still have the recreation funds. We're going to bring that back. We're gonna get rid of the federal credit union, because I hate the way they do their statements. They're very crazy. We're gonna bring it back to Bank of Hawaii, or if we need two banks, we'll go to Hawaii Bank, whatever the ones next door. We do have the Recreation Reserve Fund of $62,000.
Well, but is it possible to just dedicate because in the Hawaii is also correct.
Well, what's the one right next door?
What?
What's the bank next door? First Hawaiian?
Hawaiian, yeah, well, you just never know with the
The credit union really sucks
Let's move
because
on.
they only keep 13 months of bank statements.
Okay.
So,
Right, let's go.
Okay, so, the secretary's report, okay, this is the secretary's report. Basically, what I've been doing, since I've taken on this role is, I worked on having, a new website developed. I sought out, people to do this work because I felt, there could be a lot of, improvements. The general idea was to get back to the tradition of having an independent
is
webmaster.
the old system.
And,
This is the new system.
we have a local resident who's, been very good about putting it together for us, and he's adding
This is
things
the
on
old
there that we've
system,
never
and you
had
can see
before
the
on our last website. After our finances are more clear, I believe it'll
This
be
is
set up
April, this
to,
is April.
where people can pay assessments.
These are
And,
April.
I believe that there's also a way that Al was mentioned using a customer number
This
instead
is
of bot numbers.
We'll have to work, we'll talk, I'll work
Okay.
with the Janice on that.
So-
We'll figure it out, yeah.
So we hope to, have more on the website as time goes on. I've also been trying to, communicate amongst the members to coordinate things, to have meetings, to have executive sessions. I've been communicating with a lot of, Leilani residents about things they'd like to see and, do at the community center. There's been a number of inquiries about, having people perform music here, whether it's giving classes in music or whether it's,
This is my lunch.
having a drum circle type of event. We've had a number of people pitch ideas that I think are really neat. One resident had an idea about having a fruit stand, where it's free fruit, because, you know, we get flooded with fruit here, season to season. And, not everybody can afford Malama Market or any other place these days. And so it'd be nice to go down and to the community center.
Well, that's what
And
I
if
used
you have
to do
fruit,
in
bring it.
film.
And if you need
You
fruit,
order
take
to
it.
find
They just be on the honor system. There's no money involved. And then, you know, people who are bringing and taking the fruit, maybe they can, just, if they see something that's spoiling, take it and pitch it in the woods or whatever you gotta do. But I think that's an easy thing that volunteers could do, to make a stand and pick a place that's visible and perhaps covered so it's not in the direct sunlight. I'm looking at ideas like that. I'd like to establish a night where people could come down to the Longhouse if it's not busy and play cribbage, or, you know, have a game night, different games, so we can get to know one another more. I found that communication is very important to not only the members, but amongst the board members, to say, hey, you know, we got things in common. I don't think anybody that's sitting here at this table, you know, like, wakes up and thinks, how can I screw the LCA today? You know what I mean? I think we all want to do the right thing. I think we want to move forward with issues. I think it's in our best interest to quit looking over our shoulder and develop projects we can do together and build bonds with one another. That's my goal, is to encourage more communication. You know, I may not have a lot in common with some people, but maybe if they play cards, you know, and what happens when you play cards, when you're shuffling, you're learning more about the other person. Just simple things like that. Playing music, oftentimes you're not talking when you're playing music. So it's a recipe for, getting to, bring back the togetherness and utilize this facility. We've got an awful lot of, things at this park that no other facility exists, as far as I'm aware of, whether it be Nanavale or Black Sands or, even I went over to HPP and they have a very small facility, and, this is ideal for gatherings, you know. I don't think I've seen maybe one pig roast out at that, what do you call it, the Emu? One time, I'd like to see that thing cooking, you know what I mean? We got so many pigs in the neighborhood. Bring people in to feed them, you know?
I have tons of
The free pig roast. Anyhow, so I'm working on that. Obviously, I'm making notes of minutes and recording them. And one thing that I'm concerned about is we have an issue with records that are not available. They're missing. And I think that what we need to do to improve that is, and this came to my attention when Michael was giving me a tour of that end of the building. If any of you have never been in that end of the building, there's quite a few bays, and he has to work on his equipment out there. I noticed there's a rack with files in it in his workspace. Anybody could walk in there and take a box and have a look through it. And, if he's out mowing, how's he going to see what's going on? I think we need to take our records and put them in a room back there under lock and key. I'm keeping the notes that I take in a little plastic container because I don't have any business in that office. So I take them and they're in my house, which I have no problem with. Sometimes I'm looking at them at night and, writing stuff down, transcribing it. So I need them right there. But I would prefer to have a central location in the longhouse where we can secure things. And if somebody needs to see it, one of us, we can go in there because it's not the office with a safe or anything that's important security-wise. So we would have access to it. So these are things that I get, input from other people in the community, and it just requires communication. I know that there's a lot of people that weren't necessarily thrilled about the way that I use Facebook to post things, but in the interim of getting a website developed, I did what I could to post things here on the bulletin board and over at the pavilion, and I chose to use the Facebook page that I did because it has the most access to people. I don't necessarily, I'm not going to, put flyers in people's mailboxes. And I think that anybody that comes here to play pickleball or anything, or to use the longhouse, they'll see the postings. That's not necessary any longer to use the Facebook, but if I choose as an individual to use it, that's another thing. It's not, it wouldn't be for posting official business. That will be on the official Leilani webpage. And if you want to reach out to any of us, we'll have access. You can have access to that, and messages will come in and be distributed through the office or through somebody on the board. So we will be in communication, and I'm pretty accessible. I'm always working in the neighborhood, so people pull me aside when I'm driving down the road, and I'm learning a lot, from residents that normally I didn't have a reason to stop and chat, but this is I'm new to this. Rich has been a board member before. Al and Ron have been board members, and this is the new end of the table down here. I think, can you say you're a board member on another thing? Like the Capojo or something?
Well, I'm on a few different boards.
Right.
I'm not in Vacation Land Homeowners Association.
Okay.
It would have to be.
So this is a volunteer position, as you know, and we put in a lot of hours, and it's a balancing act for a lot of us. So, Smiley works full time, I work full time, and the others, as far as I know, are retired. So anyhow, that's a wrap on what I gotta say.
Good, John.
Comment?
A couple things. One thing, we do have various policies that have passed over years on various subjects, and we should probably put those on the website too. I'll get you copies of that from ours. I have to sort them out a little bit with it, but one of them is our procurement policy. So just for education purposes, typically if we go over $500, we should try to get 3 quotes and have prior board approval before we spend it, kind of thing. Although there are exceptions for that. So that's just one comment on that. Second thing is, I like the YouTube thing and everything. Are we going to do Zoom ever?
I think maybe Brian would mind giving his 2 cents about that.
We can,
We used to do Zoom, and
yeah.
I didn't have a huge number of people that would join, but we have 15 people here and I'd have 10 people on Zoom. So I mean,
As
it's just,
far as the videos uploading, do you save them on Zoom? I know.
what's that? Can you what now?
Do they save on Zoom? Like if somebody wants to go watch it later, they weren't able to.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has the option where you can just save it to a local hard drive. You can save it online. Can't have their service actually generate an automatic transcript for it too if you want. So and a summary. So, but I never trusted their online. So.
Yeah, whatever's preferred. This was pretty simple to do, and easily.
There's people on the mainland half the year and things, and they still always seem to join. So I think that might be good. So now the speaker system kind of had to have a speaker system for that, but typically if they had questions, I just had them do the chat thing in the window, type in the chat window. Then
Yeah, we have it happening on here too.
So anyway.
Committee reports. There's a list of committees that we'll have, future committees that was on the table back there. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but at the board meeting every month, it'll be a monthly board meeting. There'll be, each committee will have a committee lead, and that lead will give us an update. So every month we'll get an update, whether it's on the blah, 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 investigation, or it's on the, any of them. So, we did ask Michael, the maintenance king. Michael, he's been with us this is his 21st year, I think. We asked him, to come in and tell us, how he's going on with his equipment, with his, some of the stuff. I was on the board years ago and we bought the big tractor. I mean, I know how old it is. So we asked him to come in and just kind of give us an update on where you're at, how you're doing, and what your needs would be going forward, so we can budget for that.
Yeah. So currently, I just finished shoulder molds, the monthly shoulder molds. Also, I'm doing the side arming and the scraping, basically back and forth. Some areas I do it first because of the amount that's on the road here and there. I'm gonna currently jump back on that next week Monday. We also have pressure washed exercise equipment that's around the park here. Same time I did the paint, which Richard guys has repainted. I'm gonna start rush treating that as well, and then having that repaired. Also, if I were to send the periodic equipment, we're gonna start putting that tomorrow. That we really, hopefully everything is there.
Really?
So, also, one thing I wanted to bring up to is, because this is I guess a public park now, I wasn't sure about that in the past. No one really told me about that. There's so much people coming in here now, which is fine for me, but what I asked the board to do is I'm gonna need at least 1 or 2 days a month, really close up our board meetings. There's so much people that's coming in here with traffic, our batches are overflowing.
How much are porta potties?
Yeah, we did this idea. That's one thing too that I asked too is upgrading our toilet to that. Just a real basic funky what we have in there. Try to do something into like a flush valve, something like that, more commercial grade and handle a lot of people that's doing there.
Could we put an outside sink and make those bathrooms two toilets?
That's something that I try to do after if that's possible.
Just have them wash their hands outside?
Yeah, we can try to look into that. If that's possible.
What she said?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be easy to do, yeah.
Try to reduce that.
Is the amount of trash that's being left behind increased as well?
Yes, yeah. Before I would only dump trash once a week, every Friday. So I do it sometimes 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Yeah.
Do you have enough trash cans?
Yeah, I'm always on top of that part. That's the other thing I want to look into. I'm actually looking into those outdoor commercial cans. They give it every coming in. I get some of these balls at night, getting into a tree of the.
Oh, the ones with the tops on it?
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't chained on to the pole. I just put a bag out. Trash everywhere. Oh my God.
Yeah, you want a closed one that you
Yeah,
just.
you know one that has a hood on it.
Yes, you can slip it in there.
That you fall, push over.
We don't have raccoons. So we do.
Yeah.
I'm kind of confused. Are you saying something changed that now it's a public park and it hasn't been?
Well, I guess it became a public park, but no one actually
No.
told me the law.
No, that's not.
So why is there so much outsiders here? I mean, that is a park, I don't blame anybody for coming here and this and that, but a lot of people that came up the last, 5 years, it's crazy.
Oh, maybe the last night, but I think it's over. Didn't have a new line. And not changed at least 1 year.
Anyone here?
Yeah. And if you don't change the liner, it's a hazard and we get too royal when somebody's actually died.
It's for-
Yeah, but we don't use that thing.
It doesn't matter. If he doesn't have an overflow on it, and so what happens is the water goes between the tank and the liner and can actually blow one of the sides.
Or you can get a floater. Like I did a floater for me on mine because it didn't have one. Yeah,
It's never overflowed in 30 years, ever. It's just rainwater, it's never overflowed, ever. It evaporates as fast as it takes in water. Never been an issue. It evaporates off,
Yeah.
Go ahead,
It's
answer.
just a firefighter thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Have you noticed any vandalism? Is there an uptick in vandalism at all?
There was a few years back, but then it kind of slowed down now, I guess, the neighborhood, I guess, what you call it, some kids, I guess, kind of.
They moved.
So, right now, they're pretty good. They're pretty good on that one, yeah.
But your equipment's okay, the tractors, the mowers.
There are some things that need to be repaired, but for now, you should hold on to it. I want to finish the neighborhood before
The rest of this year, we're
Yeah,
fine.
because if I take it to the shop, that'll be about a year to get it back. I kind of forgot.
What kind of repair are you talking about? Like something
It's
serious?
just like a bushing and stuff here, because I still can operate it. It's just I have to kind of baby a little bit better. I want to finish the neighborhood first. I don't want to take it in and then wait 1 year to get it back.
Wow.
And then I get all piled up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you have one of those big choppy things? Like they say on the highway that they cut the bush
Yeah,
up?
I have one of those.
What's the status on getting the lights changed out at the village? I know
Honestly, we can stop that.
you can hire out on the weekend.
It's supposedly in the grant for the,
No, before that ever existed, we talked about one, because the light bulbs continue to get
Yeah.
hit by various things
Yeah.
and falling apart, and birds are getting up in the nest. There was years ago discussion of changing out the lights, the LED lights. What happened?
pickleball wants some change.
Yeah, and it was before pickleball ever came
They
here.
want them changed, but I'm saying, but no, we're told we're part of the grant money.
Now, before the grant existed.
No, but I'm saying we're waiting because they got grant money for that. That's the only reason we're waiting, to see if that money actually ever appears. Then we'll change it out. It won't take, it's not a big project. Okay, thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Michael.
That's it.
Mark has a question. Mark.
In the future, we can look at the overgrowth there.
Mhm.
You notice if you run the roads, there's a lot of overgrowth. Meaning trees are just crouching the roadway.
Yeah.
And there's something you need a board, you can look into that. By bringing in tree trimmers, knock these trees down and get it out of the way. Because it can be a lot of hassle.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, Leilani Avenue, is that owned by the county?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that came down and they did all the trees.
Yeah.
That's why I saw that
Yeah.
spinning thing and then they had that.
Michael, I would disagree with your contention that our park is public. Our charter of incorporation addresses this very clearly, and it says each member shall be entitled to use and enjoyment of the property facilities for the common use of the members. It doesn't say public.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, our park is de facto public right now. Nobody checks IDs, there's nobody at the gate, and the public is in fact using it. If it's going to be public, which I'm not opposed to, then that is something that the board is gonna have to do. The other problem, that I brought up before is CCR number 18 says our roads are private. Therefore, there is no way for the public to legally access our park unless that's changed. Now, as you may know, Leilani Avenue was originally part of our subdivision. It was dedicated to public use. We can do exactly the same thing with that portion of the road who should be decided. But we can't just de facto say that the park is public all of a sudden. It's not. The board has to act on that subject.
Okay.
I agree with
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. All right, thank you. Wait, on the agenda, we had neighborhood watch update, but Greg's not here tonight. But all we want to say is if you're not currently driving, go ahead. Go ahead, back here.
Neighborhood Watch is doing great, but we need volunteers.
Yeah, you need
We lost
drivers.
3 people this month.
Yeah.
And it takes a big team and all-day effort to set up. I also cannot do bingo. I can post bingo and do all the dishes. But we need help. Anybody who can come and help, even an hour, 30 minutes, maybe phone call, please give us a call.
All right, thank you, thank you.
For neighborhood
you.
watch.
Now let's go to the motions.
Do I get it done?
We're gonna move on to go back to the motions from the annual meeting, which you have a copy of. If you got them off the table back there, there's like 7 different motions. We're gonna walk through those. They've been approved. You guys voted them in. We voted them in.
Just one question, but the items that were voted on by the community, that's a done deal, right? That's the community made that decision, and that's it.
That's the way we see it, and we had an executive session and we approved them again in executive session, but again, you can see the yays and nays here. We have members on the board here that won't approve any of these, even get training by,
No, that ain't true.
it is true.
No, it's not true. I was
Okay,
fine
so-
with several of them, and I saluted all that stuff for running. Let's be accurate.
Okay,
The board approved them. We voted 4-2, and yeah, we approved them all. Okay. Rod had a question about them, so let's let him talk.
You shouldn't be president.
Rod, go ahead, hold on.
No, you shouldn't be president if you're gonna act that way.
Okay,
He's sitting right next to you, let him talk.
Rod, go ahead.
Had you planned to go through these one at a time, or you want me to go through them one at a time with my comments?
You're saying one of each motion, one at a time?
Gummies
Yeah,
next
how,
time
you want me to
at the
just
next
do it
meeting.
total, or are we going to do
Pass
this back
out some
and forth?
THC gummies.
We don't care.
Okay.
He can't disapprove. I mean, they've been approved and accepted already, but he probably.
No, that has not been accepted, they have not been approved.
Voted on them.
You keep stepping out of line.
Four to
Mr.
two.
President, your
Yes.
fiduciary responsibility to the community does not allow you to do that. I think you
We
need to
voted,
go
the
to
community voted, they're right here in the room, they voted on these already. Okay, should we have discussion on this or not?
Yes.
I was just gonna say, those are minutes that are of the members, so it doesn't need your approval, it's just
Right.
looking for your acknowledgement of those. So we all met, there's several people that met and made motions, so those should stand. And of course, some of them need further research by the board, but the community has spoken, so I don't know why we keep going back on this and not listening to the members' bill.
I would like to make a general comment on these motions. All right, Hawaii state law, 421J, our favorite one. It defines how notification of meetings have to be done, including annual members' meetings for corporations. That's what we have. The membership, the entire membership has to be notified or attempted to be notified. And 10% show up, that's a quorum, they can vote for it. But part of that notification has to include an agenda. And for this sort of thing, the motions that you're gonna vote on has to be distributed to the entire network or entire membership or made available.
That's not true.
That was not done. That was not done. Yes, it is.
No, it's not true.
Yes, it is.
Not true.
What's that?
Okay, let's move on, it's not true. Let's move on.
Well, I have,
Right.
well, for one thing, I can read. 2, I've got multiple lawyers' opinions that say it is required, and it's pretty obvious, and there's court cases that support that. There are already court cases that support that. So, this is my comment, this is what I said, so you can't disenfranchise 90% of the membership by coming up with stuff to vote on. They never even said. Okay, my opinion comes from an HOA experienced attorney. Cool. Here?
So the way it works is if you don't like it, you sue and you get a rule.
No.
That's the way it works.
So why do we, since you're saying you don't have to notify the membership of a corporation that they're having a vote?
What I'm saying is that we have motions, we have meetings, so that stands.
I made my statement. And I'm
Okay,
right.
let's end this here. We won't go into the motions. Okay, let's, open forum, something other than motions. We're gonna discuss, questions for us. Let's roll through them.
Have we accepted the minutes of the members?
No, they have not been accepted. It's submitted for discussion.
They've
You
been
have to
accepted
allow
twice
discussion.
before. They've been
Mr.
accepted
President,
already.
you have to allow discussion.
Yeah, right.
I asked for discussion.
At some point, you cut off discussion and we move on.
I did not cut off discussion. Interruptions from board members and community members in particular.
Could we just refocus on when one person is speaking, let them speak instead of yelling out your feelings and thoughts on it. That way it can be more, we can get through this, just one person speak at a time, and then somebody raise their hand in an orderly way, and then we can continue that way. Thank you.
I thought you were gonna go through the minutes and explain why it's confused.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm just saying, this is one person at a time, that's all I'm saying.
I believe I have the floor before I was interrupted. I have not relinquished the floor. I'd like to continue. Concerning the first one, the HOA annual member meeting was held on April 5th, more than 2 months after the date mandated by our bylaws. That is an inaccurate statement. It's an improper accounting of the corporation's governance documents. I object because the lawsuit 3CCV-24-2024 filed 18 July 2024, hereinafter for convenience referenced as the JP lawsuit. Exhibit 3, page 13, brings this topic into the realm of legal, which not can be discussed outside an executive session.
What does that mean?
That means they're talking about these legal issues is illegal. I'm informing the members of the board and the community who are up to snuff on regulations.
I have a question. Our bylaws state that members cannot vote on legal.
On what? On what?
And it's in Article 4.
Can't vote on what?
That members cannot vote on matters of legal. You also cannot vote on matters of, yes it does. Yes it does.
Show me.
Excuse me.
Hold on.
Which one is it?
I got it, right?
Let her say her piece. Let her say her piece.
We also cannot vote on matters of house and money. Those two can't vote on legal. You're saying that a motion was passed, the gentleman who was orchestrating the motion was told prior to him starting that we could not vote on matters of legal, but he presented a motion to stop the lawsuit that is against 5 defendants.
And that's how you end a lawsuit, is by voting on it by the members.
No,
That's how you end the lawsuit.
and a lawsuit because by law,
Okay,
you can't vote
okay.
against it. You can't vote legal at a members meeting.
Okay.
Article 4, Section 9.
All right. Back here.
I would strongly disagree. The bylaws state that at the annual members meeting, the members may conduct
Any business, any business.
any corporate business.
Yes.
It doesn't say anything else. It doesn't restrict it in any way.
That article
says any-
clarifies.
Don't interrupt, please. Please let him speak.
Thank you.
And it's
If I may
very-
clarify that. It also says, under the board of directors, the board of directors shall have full power to control and direct the business and affairs of the corporation.
Right. Except
Legal.
for the annual
It doesn't say, there's no accept there. There's no accept there.
No.
Right, no, there isn't.
There's not. That's all business. Really show me.
So that's all business.
And to do and provide for any and all, every legal act, whether it's an ordinary course of the business of the corporation or otherwise. Full control means there's no exceptions to it. The membership can vote on the board, the membership, it can vote on bylaw changes, CCNR changes, that's all they're limited to. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
So,
I have a question for the membership. Who's here?
Listen up, listen up, listen up.
Please, your attention. If anybody has a point to make about how a lawsuit, having any lawsuit, is a positive thing for Leilani, please raise your hand if you believe that having a lawsuit is a positive thing for Leilani. Ma'am, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the membership. Raise your hand if you think having a lawsuit is a positive thing for our community.
A judge has to rule on this stuff, it has to. We're all here just
Okay.
yelling.
Okay, I'm not acknowledging two people. If you feel that it would be better not to have a lawsuit for the community, raise your hand.
Totally.
Okay, so this is very reflective of what I saw.
Why I said that?
I'm speaking, excuse me. The reason why I asked this question is because this was very reflective of what took place in the, under the pavilion on our annual members meeting. It was common sense decisions. Now, if somebody says, in my opinion, we can't talk about legal, there's nothing to talk about, Leilani. Everything's a feces fest. You know what I mean? It's like we're just throwing it every which way. To come together and move forward, there has to be a point where, as a board and as a community, this is my opinion, personal opinion, not speaking for the secretary's role or what Al or anybody else should do. My personal opinion is we need to put it behind us and move forward to get to the business. You've asked us to do a lot with these motions. There's a lot on the table. There's 7 people normally for this that would be here. It's a wish that we would ever have to get to that, not without a lot of help from the community. And what we could do to help the community is put that big stumbling block or blocks behind us so we can work together. So I am all in favor of putting the lawsuits behind us, and I believe that the will of the people was represented at that members meeting, and I believe that the fellow Jim Friedman, who conducted it, did it in a very fair and equitable way. We paused, we took a account of the lot owners, we established quorum. Somebody asked a question, we read it back to them to clarify that that's exactly what they were asking for. And I felt like we really worked together as a community for the first time in a long time. Whether you know what I mean? I felt that, and I felt like a sense of relief, like, hey, we got something done. It didn't end in bloodshed and screaming like a normal Leilani meeting, you know? And I felt like we were turning a corner. And so for me, it's been a roller coaster ride to hear that Rod and Al have objected to the motions. Now, I can't repeat what has been said in an executive session, but you can ask questions. You can ask questions relating to anything you want, and I'll answer to the best of my ability. But I just plead with you to please put these things aside and let it go. Let it go.
Yeah,
we don't have a long term view. Our term is very short. You know?
I have a question. We didn't have any lawsuits existing until Jim Penny filed against the board members. Did you and you support him in any way?
I absolutely support it.
Totally supported.
So you supported a lawsuit, and now you want to end ours. It's okay when you do it.
I didn't finish.
It's okay when you do it.
I'd like to finish. So I supported the principle that was behind Jim Penny's lawsuit, and he actually, didn't sue Leilani, he sued the 3 individual board members, okay?
For their actions on the board.
Because,
That's suing.
Because we had an annual meeting and we voted and you had a new board of directors and you guys wouldn't walk away.
let me just,
That's the law.
and I just,
Which didn't happen, so.
I said, I won't be involved in the
the reason why I supported Jim Penny's suit is because for many years, people haven't been able to get financials, and that's a state statute there. If you ask for financials, you need to get them, and we weren't getting them, okay? And the other thing that really bothered me was I saw a lot of people in these halls with vast experience and talent that were shot down year after year for even the opportunity to run on the board because they were subjected to what we term a vetting, a vetting, where you go to their house and see if they have any CC&Rs. And the judge, he agreed with us that there's nowhere in the 4 corners, the doctrine of our bylaws, where it says anything about CC&R compliance being necessary, only current on dues. And that's all we wanted to do, was have an opportunity to serve the community.
And members meeting in 1977, the members voted. CC&R.
No, it's not. That members doesn't count. Those members aren't important.
That was just a policy that doesn't matter. It only holds up for that board during that period of time. It's old news.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Then they shouldn't be on the board.
Okay. But, I mean, okay, Chris, you're getting your hand up.
I just want to know how much money has been spent on this countersuit before the annual meeting and then after that. Sorry.
I have it.
You guys forget that you work for us, it's not the other way around.
That's right.
And the lawsuits affect everyone.
So just move on and let's work together and have an opportunity to make a difference and change things and we just like. Countersuit gives us an opportunity to get the money back from Jim Penny. That's why we have this countersuit. We have a mechanism in place to go after Jim Penny to get back the money that he wasted a lot of funds. Yeah, that Jim Penny cost us about $30,000. This countersuit gets that back. So we have a right to get that back. She cost us money.
All right, Artie, enough.
Can't find my.
The last thing on our agenda is committees. If you got an interest, you got expertise, any of those areas, we need you. We're gonna have.
I never relinquish my authority to allow people to go out of
We're gonna have
control.
committees in all those
I'm
areas.
reclaiming my time. Okay, let's go back. I object because the lawsuit
Within this time.
for convenience request, JP lawsuit, exhibit 3, page 13, brings this topic into the realm of legal, which cannot be discussed outside executive session. There was a note that there was 204, there's actually 203 lots. I want to remind the community that Robert Golden, the board president, on March 11, 2021, at the monthly board of director meeting, discussions on the annual membership meeting stated, only policy issues can be voted at the annual membership meeting. If that's true or false, we either believe Robert or we pay for new legal counsel, as the actual paid for counsel minutes are missing. Concerning the reasonable person method of voting, you possibly could do that, but the very initial one cannot be a reasonable person method of voting. You have to establish that the membership on a roll call agrees to that. To not do that, threw all the others away. I objected because approximately 1,900 members of the association were not notified in advance or in the call of the meeting. They were disenfranchised.
But that was your
That was your job. And adjourn the meeting.
I want to, you're talking about other people to come in. I want to note that to run the run the elections. I just note that the 2020 board utilized the League of Women Voters. The cost reported by the 2020 board is $11,936. So not always less expensive to go outside. When you consider that motion, you need to, does not allow for other than election-related use. Not a biggie. It just, when you get to working on that, you need to fix that.
I saw the League of Women Voters was only $1,500.
It's only $1,500.
It was $1,500, but I saw the League of Women Voters
$1,500.
check today.
It's over 7,000.
It was $11,936 as reported in financial report by the 2020 board.
And that's the price, because it's during COVID and these issues.
Oh, right, yeah.
At one meeting, the treasurer said it was 7,000 and it crept up. It started at 15. That's what it should have been, but because they answered for it and the way they hijacked everything. And the people voted has nothing to do with Leilani, other than it's the way it
Any,
Excuse me, I'm not done.
Nice comment, Sarah.
By the way, it works.
Going to an outside to do that, I want you to please abide by the procurement and contracting policy. You've made a couple items, you've done a couple things, and you have not complied with the policy. I know you're new, you don't know what you're doing, but I urge you to read the policy.
any other issues before we adjourn this thing?
The motion to, the drop immediately, excuse me, I still have the floor, I have not released the floor. The 2019-2020 board did not declare that the board is the body that represents the community, and as such, the membership cannot vote on many issues, lawsuits included. Please confer with legal counsel as to the 2019-2020 board legal advice was or is valid.
And problem with them.
Next steps.
We already voted at the, we've already voted twice on it. It's already been accepted.
Next steps, contact your lawyer.
Yeah, we've already done it.
I'd like you to define who you're recognizing as our lawyer. Is that the JP personal lawyer or the LSA corporate lawyer? Mr. President, who are you claiming as our corporate lawyer?
We haven't decided yet.
I can fill that in for you. We have one.
We've got two.
No, you don't.
You've got two lawyers.
Can other people speak soon, Rod, or?
Okay, you done?
If you stop interrupting me, we would have had it done already.
Chris, somebody, sir, go ahead.
Can you give me some information?
No, I'm not relinquishing the floor. Wait your turn.
Oh, a problem with my criteria.
The criteria or bylaws that set candidates for the board be members of good standing. I object. It's a false statement. CCNRs are required. It's a bylaw issue. It's not a vote issue for the community in the form that you tried to take.
Just pay the dues. Be current dues.
I object as the courts have not ruled that this is the case. False presentation to the community. I object because the JP lawsuit, Exhibit 3, page 11, brings this topic to the realm of legal, which cannot be discussed outside an executive session. Motion 4. The members affirm that our bylaw, blah, blah, blah. I object. It was Robert Gold who declared at the Board of Directors March 11, 2020 meeting at the 9/12/23 mark. Everyone received their assessments of an A-back dues that signals that you are not in good standing. He declared that as being from legal counsel. I suggest legal counsel revisit that to determine if the 2019-2020 board.
Share that with us later, okay? That's enough. 3 to 5
I
minutes
object
is
this.
enough.
I object because the JP lawsuit, page 13, brings the topic into the realm of legal, which cannot be discussed outside an executive session. Also brought into the legal realm by Exhibit 3, page 14, also brought into the legal realm on page 21, item C. Motion 5. The minutes of the lawsuit copy. Yeah. In your motion 5, I object because the JP lawsuit, page 13, brings this topic into the realm of legal, which cannot be discussed outside an executive session. Also brought into the legal realm of Exhibit 3, page 14, also brought to the legal realm
between the two of you.
on page 21.
That it is. What's the give it off. Give it off.
I have not relinquished
The
the
members don't want to hear it anymore.
I have not relinquished the floor. Please let me continue.
They don't want to hear it anymore, Rod. They don't want to hear it anymore.
It doesn't matter.
They don't ask for it. It doesn't matter.
Motion 6, the members require that all board members are elected appointed between elections must undergo training. Please abide by the ESA procurement and contracting policy when you set that up. Motion 7, the members recognize that all owners of lab lots and members in good standing without any payment of HO. Please stop interrupting me. You're out of order. Please stop. No, put your hand down. You're wasting your time. You're out of order. I remind the committee that James Penny on March 18, 2020 stated the new board needs to resolve this issue. People are not current on dues are not permitted to vote. Thank you, Jim. Under rationale, I remind the community that on March 18, 2020, JP stated in writing, inasmuch as there is no access by the LSA to these lots, owners shouldn't have to pay the full amount of dues, but what, if any amount, is fair. It's something for you to examine, gather community input on, and decide. The 2024 board examined the issue, gathered community input, and based on bylaws, Article 15, assessments and charges, Section 1, in furtherance of such purposes, the scale of assessments shall.
They didn't say yet.
Please stop interrupting. This is not a members meeting, this is the board of directors meeting, there's a big difference. There's a difference between the board. Quiet, you're interrupting. You're interrupting.
When you guys don't want to listen, why don't you go outside until he's done?
For such purposes, the scale of assessment shall be fixed by the board of directors on a budgetary basis. Whereas in 2019-2020, board shifted the full burden of assessments onto most, but not all of the not damaged lava lots with a $90 or an 80% dues increase. So that was not fair. I object because it's an attempt to usurp our governance documents where an amendment would be required for such a change. I object because the JP lawsuit, page 9 and page 11 and page 12 brings this topic into the realm of legal, which cannot be discussed outside an executive session. Motion 8. I object because the JP lawsuit, page 9, 11, and 12 brings the topic into the realm of legal, which cannot be discussed outside an executive session.
I just want the report for the grant.
All right. Shit, Sarah, go.
No, I'm not done.
You're done.
No, I'm not. I have not relinquished the floor.
You're done. You're done.
You can all go somewhere else if you want, but this is a board of directors meeting. I have been awarded the floor by the president. I'm making comments. I'm going to continue.
Make a few comments. A few comments. Not 40 pages. Sarah, go ahead.
I object as the member's desire as secretary to the proper implementation of amendments in accordance to the governance documents, or so state that.
Put it in the minutes.
I'm asking it to all be in the minutes. Objections.
Enter it into the minutes.
I object as discussions of the lawsuit are not allowed outside the executive session. I object as the sentence above was not part of the discussions of the annual membership meeting. This is an attempt by the secretary to change the historical records of the association. Proper placement of that sentence would have been in the call of the next board meeting. This one, it was not.
Oh, brother.
The board will establish several working groups, blah, blah, blah. I object as the paragraph above is not part of the discussion at the annual membership meeting. Proper placement of that paragraph would have been in the call of the next board of director meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Rod.
Sarah, go.
Okay, I think everybody who was up to the 6-month discussion review, who were elected by the members of this association, from going to both candidates forum meetings, my understanding from each of the 6 of you is that you wanted to serve the community. By not listening to the members of the community when there's overwhelming
approval or desire to move one way, I ask why you decide as individual members of the board that you will not listen to or respect the will of the community.
Yes.
I'd love to hear the answer to that.
The will of the community is expressed through the board of directors who are
No.
You work for us.
That's not quite true. The board of directors is supposed to represent the will of the people. The will of the people did speak during these motions, and I think that that should be respected by everybody on the board also.
Andy Andrews in fact made a statement. Andy Andrews made a statement that. Yes, but
We don't care about Indiana.
Andy Andrews.
You're the bill.
So what? This is the board that we've elected now. This is the board that I want to listen to. This is the board that I want to represent me. This is the board that I want to make decisions for our community based on what the members want, regardless of what's happened in the past, good, bad, ugly, whatever. Let's please move forward as a community. And I think Al wanted to respond.
Yeah, so the thing is, that just to clarify, you're asking that we go with somewhat less than 10% of the members and ignore the other 90% and not even inform them what we're gonna vote on.
No, that's what you did.
Oh, we really did inform all 1,400 people?
That was your responsibility.
No, that's not right. They have to, if someone wants to make motions at the members meeting, they ask, and we put it on the agenda, and we make it clear. We did the exact thing in 2023. That's what we did. We published it 2 ahead of week, and we had 3 motions for it.
Hold on, one at a time.
And I ask please that the 6 of you, the 7th of you is absent tonight, would please work for the community, take into account the desires of the community, and please move forward.
Hold on.
Those of you who are trying to do this for the community deserve a lot of respect and a lot of recognition. I can't believe that a couple of you are conjuring up my name as if I was the source of evil in this community. Sarah, you just gotta let it go. Someday you'll move on, and someday you'll find peace. But apparently you haven't.
You
yet.
should have been helpful.
Sarah, someday you'll find peace. And I hope you will.
How do you live with yourself?
Sarah, you're saying. Okay,
Stop it there. Hold on.
I hope very much that all of you are able to work together. I'm very disappointed in you tonight, just absolutely going on and on, wasting time at this meeting when there are real, honest goodness things, genuine things that need to be solved. And you're nitpicking over a bunch of legal terminology that probably you don't even understand, and certainly a lot of the folks here at this meeting don't understand, and also could care less about. It's time for Leilani to move on.
That's not true.
When I moved, when I moved to this community, it was a peaceful, wonderful place to live. People cooperated. People got things done. There was enough money to get everything done. Unfortunately, the lava came along and screwed up a lot of things for a lot of people. That was a heartbreak. But it's time for us to put all of this drivel behind us and move on with positive things. If you guys want to blame me, Andy Andrews, for something that happened in the past, I got broad shoulders. I could give a shit. But we need to move on.
I have a quick question for you.
I don't
A lot of our documents.
You take questions.
A lot of documents.
You take questions.
A lot of
documents. I don't take questions.
A lot of documents and receipts disappeared while you were on the board.
Not at all disappeared. Absolutely nothing. It was determined by the courts that nothing disappeared.
No, it wasn't.
We met with complete records in these offices.
Janice has said that those records are missing, Mr.
Yeah, 2024 records are missing.
The 2024, the 2023,
2022.
2022, and some of the 2021 records are missing. I left the board in 2020. I don't know what happened in the 4 or 5 years since then, but I do know that we can move on. I do know that a good bookkeeper can make things work, can reassemble what is missing, and we can move on from it today in a positive, both positive in terms of spirit, positive in terms of energy, and positive in terms of income. We need to move on.
Supported continuing with the lawsuit and who did not. You two did not raise your hands for either. Where do you stand?
This is not an issue that is,
What?
can be determined in that manner. This is an issue that's already in the courts, and the courts will handle it.
No, but you can
No,
end
that's
it.
not
You
what
can
I asked.
end it.
The
You
courts
can
can
end it.
handle it. I asked the board
The
members.
status of the lawsuit will be determined by the non-conflicted members of the board.
Yeah, well, you're conflicted because you started the lawsuit.
You're complicating
No.
the question.
Yes,
And
No.
you do not understand.
I raised my hand. You
Yeah,
did
but
not.
you're making it more complicated.
So what is the purpose of continuing the lawsuit? How is that helping the community?
We've already discussed that. I've already said it. Let's move on. Let's move on, like everyone said.
Well, sure, you would like to move on because you don't.
So
want
would
to
Andy
hear-
Andrews, yeah.
Yeah.
It's underneath.
Right. And
Yes.
I'll adjourn.
Before you start reading that list of 8 motions, is it 8?
Something like that.
Whose opinion were you giving as to the proper interpretation of the motion and its outcome? Was that your personal?
That was my understanding
Interpretation.
from previous lawsuits within the organization. When the 2020 lawsuit was going on, that was a constant thing that was brought up, that these items were in the purview of legal, and they could not be discussed outside of the executive session. If that worked in the fight for Andy Andrews and his board, it will work in the fight for our board.
All right, we're gonna adjourn it. And if they want to stick around, they can.
I have questions.
Hey, we're gonna call it quits. We're gonna adjourn the meeting. We'll stick around. Anyone wants to stick around and ask questions, we're here. So, the meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
This offer was